What's up, pulled pork? Just getting homey in the tiny house. It's time. So I'm watching PBS NewsHour. Get the fucks up. Destination. That's not what I was watching. Fuck's the date today? It's the 20th, huh?
On the NewsHour tonight, Hamas releases 2 American hostages. A glimmer of hope at a time when many others remain captive.
Fucking stupid car just broke down. Broke down at the fucking, while I was en route to go pick up a 40 after work.
The ongoing support of
And a
these
fucking
individuals and institutions.
son of a bitch.
And friends of the NewsHour.
She broke on me.
Jim and Nancy
It still runs, but I can't get any power going to it. So
Consumer Cellular.
it could be the camshaft sensor or something like that.
Nationwide coverage with no contract.
Camshaft, crankshaft sensor. I don't know. Who gives a fuck? I don't even care. So anyway, I went and grabbed the fucking minivan.
Early stage companies.
I got myself
energy that energizes
my
me.
40.
These are people who are trying
watch
to
the
change the
news.
world. When I volunteer with women entrepreneurs, it's the same thing.
Jack is too
I'm
small for me,
helping
but
people reach their dreams.
it looks
I'm
cute.
thriving by helping others every day. People who know BDO.
Oh, freak.
The John S. and James L. Knight Foundation, fostering informed and engaged communities. More at kf.org.
What a freak.
And with the ongoing support of these individuals and institutions. And friends of the NewsHour. This program was made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by contributions to your radio station from viewers like you. Thank you.
I had the furnace going now for
Welcome
2 days
NewsHour.
straight
2
without. I
American
did so many
hostages
tests on it. I said it's about time to see
Hamas following the terror attacks
if he's
of
gonna
October
run.
7th are free tonight.
It has been.
Judith Raanan and her daughter Natalie were released this evening after mediation by the government of Qatar. Nick Schifrin has been reporting on this since news broke, and he's here with us now. Nick, it's good to see you. So tell us, based on your reporting, how did this happen? How was their release secured?
Well,
The International Committee of the Red Cross received Ranans from Hamas and transferred them
if it ain't one thing, it's another.
gave them to Israeli authorities, leading to that extraordinary photo you just saw, Jeff. Now, American, Israeli, and Qatari officials I talked to today said that they are unwilling to discuss exactly what led to their release or even what happened to them. And that is because there is still
Fucking Mulliger.
of the other hostages who have 30 nationalities between them. Hamas promised today that they would continue to release other foreign hostages as and when security circumstances permit. Now, Hamas has threatened that it will kill the hostages unless Israel stops its bombing campaign in Israel. In Gaza, but Secretary of State Antony Blinken was asked specifically today whether Israel should pause its airstrikes in Gaza to release the hostages.
Well, at least it wasn't raining today.
It's very simple. Hostages should be released immediately and unconditionally. I'm not sure anyone in this room would take at face value or report something that ISIS had said. The same applies to Hamas. Our position is clear. Every hostage needs to be released and needs to be released now.
There are still 10 Americans, Jeff, unaccounted for, believed to be hostage in Gaza. As was very instrumental in this, right in the middle of this negotiation, and its foreign ministry.
Anyway, the fuck you today.
We will continue our dialogue with both.
Hung a bunch of stringers, text stringers, put up fucking.
To the release of all civilian hostages.
Not stringers, floor joists.
The
Well.
ultimate aim of de-escalating the current crisis and restoring. Israeli officials say
Hung a bunch of floor joists on a deck.
Stopping their campaign.
It had to add all the hangers, which was a lot of hammering.
Launch airstrikes.
I don't have Pico.
unexpected ground
Mailer,
invasion
so
in the
just
coming
by
days.
hand.
Even if, they say, even if.
Oh, looks like this big ball peen hammer was
Well,
just
the Ronas we
hitting,
know are mother and daughter from
hitting nail after nail.
Yeah, so Judith was born in Israel, Natalie in the United States, and on October 7th, they were visiting family on the border of Gaza and Israel in the kibbutz of Nahal Oz. This is one of the communities that were
Sounds like
overrun
this.
by Hamas terrorists, and
Little
gunmen
bright.
got into their home and abducted them from a safe room.
I'm gonna go
Natalie is 18. You see her right there. The family
pick up the
released
gal.
a photo of her and her daughter.
I'm gonna go to the casino.
Outside Chicago,
Look
as
up
you
the
said.
toe straps.
Now Judith, whose Hebrew
I
name
live
is
like 2 miles
is
from the
an artist,
casino,
and she's really full of life.
so
Says Rabbi Dov
it won't be that
the
much of a
executive
toll.
director of the Chabad in Evanston.
Judith is just an amazing woman. She walks
Maybe
into
he'll
a
drive.
room,
He'll start it up.
she's lit up. She lights up the room.
Starts up.
Her eyes
It's
glow.
gonna grow.
She has so much happiness and spiritual, and she's such a shining spirit. I said when they were taken that if anybody,
My buddy just happened to be driving by some auto mechanic.
who this
Broke down by the Veterans Memorial.
so much hope.
It's like, what's up? I said, I don't know, it's a piece of shit.
Track good.
I was like, give me a push. So then he
Positively, it'll be good.
push. I could start up the car. I was kind of driving. This wouldn't go, and then he just pushed me the rest of the way. And then
Rabbi
I
Klein called her release a miracle, but
give me a
also
ride to get the
acknowledged
minivan.
that will need a lot of support from
The
people
gal
to overcome
working.
the trauma of what they
So I'm gonna go
witnessed.
home, take a
Even
break,
President Biden
pick you up.
said today that the U.S.
When you're
government,
done.
will help them
And you're gonna
recover
tell me
and
home.
heal, something
And so
that
then,
they definitely need after what they've been
Got the family, some store, went back down to the casino. There were the cops just sitting next to my fucking vehicle. 2 cop trucks.
Elsewhere, Israeli
Pulled up and
airstrikes
just started
continue
doing
to
stuff.
fill Gaza
They didn't even pay
today.
attention to them. They didn't say shit to me.
Forces ready by the Gaza border. On the Egyptian side of that border, aid shipments still await entry to Gaza as the UN Secretary General visited the site and pushed for a resolution.
They didn't say shit to me.
Alana Allen reports.
And eventually one took off and another one
This
took off.
was a
Then I
sanctuary
took
for
off.
hundreds of Palestinian Christians and Muslims. But for many, it became a tomb. The historic Greek Orthodox Church of St. Porphyrius in Gaza was hit by Israeli airstrikes overnight. The Israel Defense Forces said the target was a nearby Hamas command center. But more than a dozen people who were taking shelter in the church compound were also killed.
Poor people, man. War.
This church is
Fighting is like
1700 years
in
old.
Jesus'
It's one of the
country.
oldest
It's like
churches in
it's
the
like
world. We've witnessed more
it's
than
fighting
4
about
wars, and this
the
is
crying
different.
wall where
It's a
Jesus
total
was born.
genocide.
And who can go there and who can't go there. I understand, but when anyone has to fucking be killed because of shit like that,
It doesn't stop
I don't know.
Ibrahim al-Azhar from opening his
It's
heart
like,
and his home to dozens of refugees in southern
is
Gaza.
it worth
When
it?
the explosion happens, they're always
that-
screaming, they're
is that
always frightened. The younger ones, we try
what
to calm
the
them
religion
down.
is
The
about?
problem is the ones that are eight
I
and
don't know,
above. Those
man.
are the ones that understand what's going on.
Is
They
it?
can hear,
I hope not.
feel.
At the Al-Shifa hospital, the cries of the young echo everywhere.
Poor people.
Gaza's
Poor
biggest
kid.
and only well-equipped hospital is overwhelmed and running out of fuel and water.
It's not good.
Outside,
Pray for these
despair.
people. I send them all the love in the world that this shit gets fucking figured out.
Killing of children in their sleep to stop. We are tired.
Aid remains absent. All eyes are on the one access point not under Israel's control. The southern Rafah border crossing. Satellite images showed a bottleneck of
Like, I don't
some
want
200 vehicles.
Support
stood at the
none
gates,
of that
waiting
shit
to roll
happen.
in.
These trucks are not just trucks. They are a lifeline.
Today, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres
Not like anything I want to do is
What
make
we need
difference.
is to make them move.
I pray.
To make them move to the other side of this wall.
Speaking with EU leaders today, President Biden said a delivery deal had been finalized.
I believe that within the next 24 to 48 hours, the first 20 trucks will come across with aid.
Threats of a greater conflict in the Middle East emerge. Surveillance footage from the Israeli military today showed strikes on Hezbollah targets along the Israel-Lebanon border. And defense forces bolstered their presence in Jerusalem, as tanks remain parked all along the border region. A full-scale ground invasion of Gaza appears closer by the day.
First, we will destroy the Hamas organization. The next stage will take more time, which will be stabilizing the system and eventually, at some point, we'll reach the point that there is a completely different security regime here.
And in the West Bank, Israeli security divisions are out in force. Yesterday, the IDF conducted an extensive raid on Nur Sham's camp in the northern West Bank, including a rare airstrike as part of a larger anti-terror operation this week. Today in Nur Shams, the devastation left behind. Roads entering the camp ripped to pieces by bulldozers, and somber crowds flocking to the cemetery to bury the dead. Residents of Nur Shams camp have turned out to bury a dozen young men killed in an Israeli raid last night. And Palestinian militants have turned out too, firing their guns and waving the flags of Hamas, Fatah, and Islamic Jihad. The IDF says the young men killed yesterday were terrorists. Taha Mahamid's family says he was an innocent child. Taha had just turned 15. Last night, he was hiding with his brothers and sisters in their home as the Israel Defense Forces stormed through the camp. Quiet returned, and Taha went outside to check if they could come out. Video shows Taha was visibly unarmed and did not approach the soldiers. The IDF shot him 3 times. As his sisters watched from the window, Taha dropped to the ground.
He saw his kid lying on the street. My father raised his hand and he wanted to pull his kid and to bring him here. But he, when he saw my brother, he knew that he was dead. He gave him a hug.
As he tried to retrieve Taha's body, the soldiers shot Ibrahim too.
For 2 hours bleeding and never let the ambulance come and give my father the help.
Ibrahim was not there to bury his son today. He's now in intensive care. Fatma's hands shake as she speaks, her grief still raw.
A 15-year-old.
Fuck that, man.
Can you believe that?
It's fucked up. Yeah.
It's a shame to say such words.
Well, I mean, I do that
really
stuff to each other.
If you're fighting a military, you can do in war, you can do anything you want to, but you're not fighting a soldiers, a military brats. No, you're fighting kids, civilians.
Hospital officials say 5 of those killed here last night were younger than 17. One boy was just 12. The IDF refused our request for an interview about the operation on Nur Shams. 83 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli security forces in the West Bank since Hamas's terror attacks, and more than 800 arrested. As the violence spreads, Palestinians in the West Bank are divided on how to respond to Israel's assault on Gaza. Some are determined to protest and fight. Others stay quiet, hoping to protect their families and safely ride out the tidal wave of Israel vengeance. But for people living in towns deemed a threat and targeted, that choice is already out of their hands. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Layla Milana Allen in Tulkarem, the West Bank.
At the U.S. Capitol, Republican Jim Jordan
These
is
fucking
now
Republicans and
the
their
Speaker
fucking.
of the House. Republicans voted behind closed doors to dismiss him as their nominee after he yet again failed to win the job on the House floor today. Now the party is once again left grappling with whether anyone can unite its divided members. Lisa Desjardins joins us now in studio after spending countless hours on the Hill this week. Lisa, how are you doing?
Lisa Desjardins. Quick, pull my tooth.
Situation. Jim Jordan this morning said he was going to make.
Oh yeah, drop the beats.
But on the very first vote, he lost momentum. And
drop the beats. I'm Pepe the Sailor Man, living in the garbage man.
One of the first out of the meeting was one of Jim Jordan's allies, Anna Luna. This was her reaction.
I think that people up here care more about being in
Ana
Washington.
Paulina Luna.
Asking them to do. We had people leaving today. We have no speaker. We have a war in the Middle East, and people care more about their own personal egos than this country.
Now, of course, all sides are pointing to everyone else's egos in this situation, but with the collapse
Lego my ego.
also an opportunity Now, the major candidates for Speaker are all off the board. So this opens up to the entire House conference now, which over the weekend is going to say anyone who wants to run for Speaker, put your hat in the ring by Sunday. One of those people is Kevin Hearn of Oklahoma. Here's what he told me today.
People want to be heard, they want to be valued, and I think that's what you're seeing right now. And there's a lot of historical relationships that some are not going to ever be able to work around. And
yeah, we'll tow that Honda Laundry home. I'll do some research online. She's like, get myself a can shaft.
Trying to say they have less ego than everyone else. But I will tell you, there are plenty of egos to go around. Right now, we have about half a dozen, at least, candidates for Speaker. Basically, there's about 200 people. Almost every House Republican is thinking about it right now.
And Kevin Hearn is saying what he doesn't have the baggage that other Republicans might have.
That's right.
So what does Jim Jordan's quick rise and fall?
Quick, pull my tooth.
Republicans saying about that? What does that signal, if anything?
I think we realize that the fractures within the Republican Party go in many more directions than even we realize. There is kind of a break, not just between the Freedom Caucus kinds of conservatives, but sort of the Matt Gaetz types, those who will go against everyone at all costs. And there are those with Jim Jordan, who really has
Jimmy J.
and MAGA agenda as well. But, I looked at the votes, and I think there was something to learn from them. Let's go over exactly what happened with Jim Jordan here. Now, on the House floor yesterday, he received 199 votes, all Republicans. Today, that went to 100.
There's some guy running as independent for president.
An hour
and all these radio ads and shit. You've been hearing about this stuff.
Votes from the same Republicans who had just given him 194 votes.
I think her name is Paula Poundstone.
Politicians are doing something in
there she is. Paula Poundstone.
There is a legal Republican also support their nominee on the floor. But
you'll fave.
a man that they did not want to be.
You gotta do your eyeshadow, your blush.
Well, we're going to have speeches from everyone who puts their name in the hat.
And this other guy, yeah.
The hope is for votes Tuesday, but it is, I don't have to say this, unclear if that is what will in fact happen.
Look at Daddy Warbucks.
I'm hopeful that perhaps something will happen.
Little Orphan Annie.
We know for sure you'll be covering it all along with our great team there on the Hill. Lisa Desjardins. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
In the day's other headline, a judge in New York fined former President Donald Trump $5,000 for violating a gag order in his civil fraud trial. Judge Arthur Engeron had ordered Mr. Trump to delete a social media post attacking a court staffer, but it stayed on the Trump campaign website. The defense lawyer called it an oversight. The judge said, quote, "This is a blatant violation of the gag order. I made it clear that failure to comply will result in serious sanctions." He stopped short of holding Mr. Trump in contempt, which could have meant jail time. Meantime, a co-defendant of Mr. Trump pleaded
guilty to contempt, man. Throw him in jail.
Interference case and got 5 years probation. Lawyer Kenneth Jethro admitted he conspired to file false documents, that's a felony, in an effort to overturn the 2020 election results. His plea came as jury selection was starting. It also came after another lawyer, Sidney Powell, pleaded guilty Thursday to misdemeanor violations. The head of the United Auto Workers is reporting progress in contract talks, but he says there's still more to gain by staying on strike.
I need a fucking electric car before you know it. Give me one. I'll buy one.
He said GM, Ford, and Stellantis are each offering 23% wage hikes, but he cautioned against settling now.
The bottom line is we've got cards left to play, and they've got money left to spend. That's the hardest part of a strike. Right before a deal is when there is the most aggressive push for that last mile. They just want to wait us out.
Wait us out.
5 weeks ago. So far, more than 34,000 union members at selected plants have walked off the job.
I'm out of here. Check this out. This babe this is Poolside Blue. Daddy Warbucks. Poolside Blue.